June 7th marked the 8th day since the incident of apartment buildings in Tianjin's Country Garden subsiding, tilting, and cracking. Suddenly in the afternoon, a violent wind accompanied by thunderstorms uprooted large trees. Homeowners who were already on edge grew even more anxious. Some were worried whether the leaning buildings could withstand the assault of the level 8 gusts. Official news claimed that the subsidence has been controlled, yet videos released by residents showed that the range of subsidence was still expanding. Cracks were also discovered in the ground to the north and west of the already tilted buildings, and high-rise apartment buildings on the western side also began to show cracks.
兄弟们，回趟家没了，家崩塌了，家陷了，非常哇塞啊！
As of now, nearly 4,000 residents have been evacuated and temporarily accommodated in nearby hotels. The authorities have yet to release the final report on the cause of the incident or make any statement regarding compensation. Some homeowner representatives have already begun negotiations with Country Garden, but no clear promises has been received yet.
In recent days, all residents have already evacuated and moved. As the apartments are high-rise and elevators are out of service, moving was a challenging task. Many people were seen hoisting belongings down with ropes from upper floors, while others were taking pictures and videos as keepsakes. Tears were about to fall when the doors were closed for the last time. During the packing up, the urge to cry was overwhelming. A lifetime of hard work seemed to be falling apart. The feeling of becoming homeless was looming.
In our previous video, we analyzed why the expert group was useless and discussed the technical reasons for the accident. In this video, we will delve into whether homeowners can expect to receive compensation. Let's first give an update on the situation. On June 8th, videos shared online showed that buildings 37 to 52 are still surrounded by blue iron panels. Residents and moving company personnel who wish to enter this area must present Certificate of House Property Right or lease agreements. Many people are lining up to retrieve their belongings. Another video shot on June 8th showed cracks in the ceiling and floor of the underground garage in Building 45, with debris scattered about, and even load-bearing walls severely damaged. The person who shot the video reported that the ground had sunk by at least 50 centimeters. Another homeowner shared a video claiming that the shared utility room between buildings 37 and 38 had sunk more than a meter. Some cars in the complex were marked with Civil Disaster Relief. All construction work on site has now been halted. On June 8th, a concerned netizen visited the Country Garden complex for on-the-spot investigation. He found that the entire complex has strengthened its security measures. Each homeowner is required to swipe a card individually to enter the main gate. This netizen, after communicating with a sympathetic driver, successfully sneaked into the complex. However, they found that the evacuated area of buildings 37 to 52 was surrounded by blue iron panels, with only one entrance and exit left between buildings 45 and 46. Police cars patrolled near the iron sheet enclosure, and there were personnel checking identification at the entrance of each unit. Entering the controlled area of buildings 37 to 52 likely requires a special access certificate. In the 10 minutes he observed the entrance and exit, several residents from nearby buildings passed by and took photos, only to be dissuaded and told to leave quickly by the security guards. The netizen also noticed vehicles from the public security, fire department, city management, gas company, and moving companies at the scene. The netizen observed cracks approximately 3 to 5 centimeters wide on the exterior wall of Building 6, the high-rise apartment building located at the far west of the Country Garden complex. This building is around 400 meters west of Building 38, which has suffered the most severe damage due to subsidence. A marble slab is hanging on the side of Building 6, engraved with the names of the construction company, Geotechnical Engineering Exploration Company, Design Company, Construction Company, Supervision Company, and the persons in charge of each field. These names will be mentioned in our later analysis. Owners of buildings 37 to 42 received formal notice to move out, while owners of building 43 to 52 were only verbally advised to evacuate without any formal moving notice. A circulated online video showed 3 police officers forcing a homeowner from building 45 to move. The homeowner disagreed, asserting that it's his home, and questioned why he should move.
Isn't this communication? You want a government document, but how can you get one now? It's difficult. You should leave for now, but you can come back into the community later. If others want to move, that's their business. This is my home, and I don't want to move. Are you so special? I'm not special. I just want to live in my own home. What law am I breaking by living in my own home? You tell me. Do you know it could be dangerous? Dangerous? Then you should provide a proof of danger. You say it's dangerous, but you don't show any proof, and then you stop me from living in my own home. Is this reasonable? Proof? What proof? Proof to justify why you are not letting us ordinary people live in our own homes. Don't you always say to follow the law? Where's the law now? I've told you everything that needs to be said. You understand the situation. If you think you are in the right, then stick to it. We'll report to our superiors. Go ahead and report it. Thank you for your trouble.
Thousands of people are unable to return to their homes, which has brought significant inconvenience to their lives. Homeowner Mr. Zhao's eyes were already red during an interview with mainland media. He said that he had just renovated his home 10 days ago, and now he can't return. Look at us, a big family with so much stuff here. It wasn't easy to buy a home, and we still have to pay the mortgage, he added. Wang Mei and her family of 5 are now squeezed into a room in a hotel. She has to send her daughter to kindergarten, fetch medicine for the elderly, and still has to go to work. Wang Mei feels she is at her limit and lamented, "I wanted to cry when packing up the house. All the hard work of a lifetime has crashed." Mr. Li said that everyone has been very anxious since the incident occurred. Due to the officials' delay in clarifying how to handle the aftermath, some homeowners whose buildings were severely damaged are considering sending representatives to negotiate with the government, demanding an official statement as soon as possible. Thousands of people can't live in their homes now. Some residents have taken out their valuable belongings. There are still items left behind, and mortgage payments are still due on time. To discuss compensation, the cause of the accident must first be made clear, and then the responsible party identified. Regarding the cause of the accident, the official preliminary conclusion of the expert group announced on June 4th is that this was a sudden, localized, uneven subsidence. Such a wide area of subsidence occurring in such a short time is relatively rare, both domestically and internationally. The specific reasons still require further investigation. Please note their emphasis on relatively rare both domestically and internationally. According to our preliminary analysis, experts seem to attribute the cause of the accident to a natural disaster. Country Garden also has its own statement on the cause of the subsidence. In an interview with Hong Kong 01, they stated that on the evening of May 31st, a localized ground subsidence occurred in Balitai Town, Jinnan District, Tianjin. As a result, an external force affected the Fengjinting project delivered in 2015, causing cracks in the municipal roads outside the project's red line and in some local areas of the complex. Country Garden stated that, according to relevant government reports, the initial investigation revealed that the ground subsidence was caused by the loss of underground water and soil. At present, the government has organized authoritative experts in geology, engineering, and architecture to study and judge, carry out precise infilling and reinforcement, effectively controlling the subsidence trend. Please note that Country Garden emphasized affected by external forces, and the ground subsidence was caused by the loss of underground water and soil, suggesting that they had nothing to do with the incident. As for the factors related to this subsidence accident, let's analyze them further. First, let's talk about the geothermal well drilling. At present, information about the subsidence of Country Garden in Tianjin is being restricted on various websites in China. However, one article caught our attention because it tried to point the cause of the subsidence to drilling geothermal wells, which aligns with the saying of some residents and Country Garden. The article stated that there are 4 geothermal blocks in Balitai Town, Jinnan District, among which the Country Garden community where the incident occurred is located in the geothermal block Jin 52. According to a government announcement, the exploration rights of Jin 52 were auctioned by the government on December 28th of last year. The starting bid was 15.6 million yuan, and the buyer was Tianjin Zhenyang Heating Co. Ltd. The government announcement stated that it's predicted that the top of the thermal reservoir in Jin 52 is buried at a depth of 3,000 meters. The thickness of the thermal storage layer is 600 meters. The temperature of the water output from well is 88 degrees Celsius. The single water yield is 70 cubic meters per hour, and the estimated annual extraction volume is 400,000 cubic meters. The plan was to drill 2 pairs of geothermal wells. Homeowners in Country Garden community stated that the drilling of geothermal wells began about 20 days ago. According to the progress of the drilling, the geothermal storage layer has not yet been reached, and water yield production has likely not started. Therefore, the initial judgment is that this subsidence incident is not greatly related to the geothermal well drilling across the road. In this case, Country Garden is the developer. Before the suites were sold to the homeowners, Country Garden was the property owner. The steps for developing a residential complex are as follows. The developer buys land from the government, completes general layout plan, conducts a preliminary geotechnical exploration, finishes preliminary design, performs a detailed geotechnical exploration, design construction drawings, foundation treatment, undertake construction, carry out the final acceptance, then the homeowners move in. Do you remember the large marble slab mentioned earlier by the netizen? It showed the following information. The construction company was Tianjin Balizhou Country Garden Real Estate Development Co. Ltd. The geotechnical exploration company was North China Non-Ferrous Engineering Exploration Institute. The design unit was Guangdong Boyi Architectural Design Institute Co. Ltd. The construction unit was Heilongjiang Province First Construction Engineering Company. The supervision unit was Henan Hongye Construction Management Co. Ltd. This slab was prepared under supervision of the Tianjin Construction Engineering Quality and Safety Enforcement General Team. If no adverse geological conditions or hidden risks were discovered during the geotechnical exploration phase, the survey unit, North China Non-Ferrous Engineering Exploration Institute, should bear the responsibility. According to the information available, this unit was formerly known as North China Geological Exploration Bureau 517 Team, which was under the Ministry of Metallurgy of China. After the Ministry of Metallurgy was dissolved, it was reorganized into the National Metallurgical Industry Bureau, becoming an administrative agency under the State Economic and Trade Commission, in charge of metallurgical industry. Hence, this exploration unit is a public institution established by the government, and the government is its boss. The design unit, Guangdong Boyi Architectural Design Institute, is a core alliance enterprise of Country Garden. The construction company, Heilongjiang Province First Construction Engineering Company, originated as Northeast Third Company, a subsidiary of the former Ministry of Construction Industry of China, a typical state-owned enterprise. The supervisory company, Henan Hongye Construction Management, is a private enterprise headquartered in Zhengzhou, holding several top-grade qualifications issued by the government, such as Grade A for Housing Construction Project Supervision, Grade A for Central Government Investment Project Bidding Agency, Grade A for Government Procurement, and others. In the context of China, it would be impossible to attain these qualifications without the backing of government officials with significant power. The developer, Country Garden, is essentially a partner in the government's exploitation of the people's wealth. Hence, it can be said that it is fundamentally aligned with the government. Consequently, among all the related enterprises, only Tianjin Zhengyang Heating Co. Ltd., the one drilling the geothermal wells, has the weakest influence. Therefore, whether the issue arose during the geotechnical investigation, design, construction, or supervision phase, experts dare not truly point out their faults and responsibilities. As such, the expert group is currently emphasizing that this kind of situation is relatively rare both domestically and abroad, to pave way for the final report to classify it as a natural disaster. Of course, the audience may ask, what about the building quality of the apartment buildings? Aren't there quality inspection institutions for housing? Aren't they investigating the costs? Can't the homeowners inspect it themselves? In China, to conduct a housing quality inspection, one must first have the inspection qualification issued by the government. Usually, such testing institutions are public institutions established by the government. The leaders of these units are also appointed by the government, and they must obey instructions from the government officials. Therefore, it can be inferred that the inspection conclusion they submit is likely to be that the building quality is acceptable. If the inspection conclusion states that the building quality is unacceptable, it will be equivalent to negating all previous processes and even overturning the original housing quality acceptance results. The quality of housing is supervised and managed by local government departments. Therefore, a conclusion of unacceptable housing construction quality is unlikely to be reached. For ordinary people, they do not have the ability to independently detect and examine the quality of a building. Even if homeowners notice that the quality of concrete or rebar is very poor, they have no means to issue a document that can serve as a legal basis, as they lack the national inspection qualification. In a society where all aspects, even the qualification to judge, the standard of judgment, and the right to supervise public opinion, are all controlled by the government, can fairness and justice still exist? Let's look at a few examples. On June 4, 1989, the Chinese Communist Party sent its army to massacre tens of thousands of innocent civilians in Tiananmen Square, yet they insisted that no one was killed. The CCP carries out policies of genocide against the people of Xinjiang, yet they label these people as violent extremists, deserving of confinement in concentration camps. Over 100 million people in China once practiced Falun Gong, a practice adhering to truthfulness, compassion, and forbearance, which explicitly prohibits killing. Yet, the CCP spread rumors using all their propaganda organs like televisions, newspapers, radio broadcasting, and internet platforms, claiming that Falun Gong encourages murder. In regard to the subsidence event that occurred in the residential complex built by Country Garden in Tianjin, industry insiders have voiced their concern. They suggest that the original official approval for the developer to construct high-rise residential buildings on a large scale so close to the Bohai Bay concealed serious risks from the onset. A former executive from a state-owned real estate company who wished to remain anonymous told Radio Free Asia that there were inherent design flaws in this real estate project by Country Garden. The approval to construct large-scale high-rise buildings in that particular location hints at a potential transfer of benefits between the developer and the local evaluation units. Another seasoned real estate professional analyzed that the local government profited from land sales. Initially, Country Garden bought the land at a high price, necessitating a high plot ratio to recoup the investment, leading to the large-scale construction of high-rise residential buildings with a high plot ratio. The fact that an area that is only about 20 kilometers away from the Bohai Bay and that experienced subsidence could receive official approval is considered inhumane. Radio Free Asia also revealed that a week after the widespread subsidence in the Bali Thai residential complex in Tianjin, neither the government nor the property developer has taken steps to repair the aftermath. Thousands of residents forced to urgently relocate are still lodged in hotels, with it being unclear who is covering the accommodation costs. Current information suggests that the Tianjin municipal government and Country Garden are passing the buck regarding the follow-up costs, and the repair work remains indefinitely delayed. The savings of several generations of thousands of homeowners may be lost to the wind. The report quoted on-site workers saying that the entire community was the first project developed by Country Garden in Tianjin. It is a large-scale community with more than 7,000 households, comprising 442 buildings of villas and high-rises. Now, let's return to the issue of compensation for the subsidence of the buildings. As we analyzed earlier, the Housing Quality Inspection Center is unlikely and hesitant to issue a report stating that the housing quality is substandard. The geotechnical investigation and construction units, being government-run institutions, will not be held accountable. The developer, Country Garden, is an ally of the government. Thus, the unfortunate homeowners may end up bearing the loss themselves. In the end, the essence of the matter is that the expert group helped the government and Country Garden cover up the truth and deceive the public. If it is counted as a natural disaster, Country Garden and the relevant responsible units do not need to pay 2 billion yuan to compensate the owners, while the government only spends a small amount of funds for disaster relief and can still win a good reputation. The netizen who daringly conducted on-site visits wrote that the memory of being forced into a dead end by a police car and being closely scrutinized by security guards while returning from Country Garden is still vivid in his mind. He continued, saying that on this land, the first issue to be resolved is not the problem at hand, but rather those who raise the questions. As a bystander, his attempts to observe and document the situation are hindered at every turn by the government. Yet the homeowners still hope that this same government will resolve their problems. Perhaps by quieting the vocal homeowners first and then issuing an announcement stating that, based on experts' inspection, normalcy has been restored and the buildings are safe to live in. From an observer's perspective, it seems somewhat naive for the homeowners to believe that the government will solve their problems, even as their home buildings lean. Once again, I hope these homeowners can receive the compensation they rightfully deserve and quietly return to their normal lives. If you found this video interesting, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and share it with others. Also, feel free to leave comments and share your thoughts below.